Hello and welcome to another edition of the Efootball League show. I'm your host Stel and I'm joined once again by FIFA 18 analyst and coach Luke. Our first match of the evening sees Reapers Northampton face Lightning Panthers and Dragon, where anything less than a victory for Dragon will see a shock exit for the tournament favourite. Both sides went into the game with extreme caution given its importance to their tournament future, and it showed as neither player committed too many men forward in the early stages. Maldini's slide rule pass to Hazard picked the Belgian out well, but his pass was well read by Willian. Dragons attempted counter-attack involving Messi, Vieira, Gullit, Maradona and Ronaldo came to nothing as Hazard uncharacteristically tracked back to win the ball. Perhaps this was an early sign as to who wanted to win the game more. A lovely passage of play by Dragon almost led to the opening goal. Maradona found Gullit in acres of space and the Dutchman played in Vieira, who controlled well before finding Ronaldo. A no-look pass to Willian split the Northampton defence apart, but his left foot finish went agonisingly wide. The deadlock was broken on the half-hour mark when Messi's trickery on the left-hand side gave Gullit and Vieira the time and space they needed to pull Northampton's defence apart. Willian played in Maradona and his turn and shot gave Dragon the lead. Reapers didn't change his game plan and levelled right after the restart. Gullit and Hernandez combined well to put Rui Costa through on goal. The former Milan midfielder broke the offside trap only to have his shot saved by the feet of De Gea. Rui Costa wasn't to be denied the second time as he reacted first to the rebound, firing it in. All square, game on. A draw was no good for either side, so they had no choice but to attack, and attack they did. A swift attack involving Vieira, Messi, Ronaldo and Maradona almost put Dragon back in the lead, but another chance went begging as Maradona blasted his shot wide. Reapers probably knew it was going to be his day when he went ahead 3 minutes after the restart. Mbappe played a 1-2 with Ricardo and fouled Rui Costa in acres of space. A lovely first touch was followed by a crashing drive into the top right hand corner of the net, giving De Gea absolutely no chance. There could have been 5 goalkeepers there at the same time and they still wouldn't have been able to keep it out. What a hit. Dragon wasn't giving up hope of turning it around and equalised with a quarter of the game to go. Ronaldo capitalised on Northampton's backline ball watching, firing a low shot that was well saved by De Gea. The ball rebounded to the feet of Mo Salah, who made it 2 each. Dragon's hopes of staying in the tournament were dealt a severe blow with 6 minutes to go as Northampton went 3-2 up. It was Mbappe again on the right hand side who tormented the Lightning Panthers backline. A square pass to Hernandez was followed by a quick pass to Son, who buried his chance. Dragon's players had thrown in the towel and Reapers was in no mood to take his foot off the gas, making it 4-2 through Hernandez. Mane and Bakayoko's energy caused Lightning Panthers all sorts of problems and Hernandez did the rest. Reapers grabbed his third goal in 7 minutes when Smalling intercepted and found Mane. A quick passing move between Mane, Mbappe and Hernandez led to Mane breaking through, beating De Gea from 25 yards. Luke, what's happened? Your man, your team, Dragon, he's been slayed. He even went a goal up. What happened?
Well, it looks to me like he just lost a bit of composure, to be honest. He didn't look very comfortable in that second half whatsoever. When it was 2-2, just didn't look like he wanted to be there. But you got to give it to Liam Reapers. He played an absolute class game, and then when it comes to it, at the final 10 minutes, he scores 2 goals. And then adds another one in the 90th minute. You cannot write that down. Like, he absolutely played unreal football. I wouldn't say it was necessarily deserved, as I was going to say, because I thought Dragon was going to win the tournament, but I would say that because I'm biased. No, I'm joking. I believe that he deserved to win the game in the end. At first, I thought Dragon looked more comfortable in the first half, played some very good football, but obviously it just didn't pay off for him.
The thing is, for me, I think the turning point was Reaper's second goal with Rui Costa. Obviously, Rui Costa levelled, but the second goal was a sucker punch. He hit it from 25 yards. The goalkeeper was beaten. He had absolutely no chance. And to be fair to Dragon, he came back in the game, got the equaliser. But as I said before, something just didn't seem right with Dragon. I don't know whether it was the pressure that got to him. There was the level of expectancy. Maybe what you said last week about him possibly being the tournament champion, the eventual champion. But the 3 goals in the last 7 minutes, they were absolutely fantastic. Mane was superb. And what can you say? Reaper's played the game of his life, and he probably deserved to win on the balance of play, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest career wins he's ever had. Over the, as I said, he's an FIWC vice champion. So he's a very, very class player. But, you know, he had the game of his life, as you just said. There's nothing more that can be wrote about it. Let's be honest. I believe that Dragon has to just hold his head up and just say, look, I've got to come back better next week in Barcelona.
And I think it's, to be fair, as we said before, a draw wasn't good for either side. They both needed to go for it. It's the perfect way to start the show and a perfect advert for this competition.
Yeah, it's a perfect advert. As you said, if you want goals, this is the place to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. McKee's opening game performance against McKee raised a lot of eyebrows, so could he put in another stellar performance against a tournament favourite in Gwigsy in Epsilon Esports? McKee lost his opening game to Megabit in the 7-goal thriller and started brightly against Epsilon Esports competitor Gwigsy. Last week it was the Gareth Bale show, and the Welshman was at it again with another opening goal for Shamrock Rovers. His turn and shot mesmerised both defender and keeper. A couple of minutes later, McKee doubled his lead following a superb counter-attack. Building from the back with 3 first-time passes up to the halfway line, then releasing the ball to Valencia was the beginning of a fine move. Ronaldo's cross to Bale was hit first time with his weaker foot, and it was 2-0. Gwigsy was back in the game 25 minutes in as the combination of Lozano and Alaba down the left-hand side led to a lovely weighted pass from Vieira, who found Hernandez. The Mexican shifted the ball onto his right foot and stroked it past the keeper. Epsilon were in the ascendancy and would have pulled level before half-time had it not been for an eagle-eyed assistant referee who spotted an offside. Alaba and Lozano were again giving Valencia all sorts of trouble. Ronaldo burst into the area, turning and finding Pogba unmarked. His shot was blocked by the defender, but the ball fell to the feet of Lozano, who was running back from an offside position. No goal. McKee almost went 3-1 up before the break, but Ronaldo's header from a corner was well saved. Gwigsy started the second half on the front foot, Del Piero winning a free kick on the edge of the D. Three men stood over the ball, which caused a lot of confusion. The game plan worked as Del Piero's clever layoff to Ronaldo was placed into the top corner. A fantastic goal by one of the best players in the world. The equaliser clearly rattled McKee and he started giving the ball away cheaply. A swift break by Epsilon led to another free kick, this time closer to goal and more central. Another three-man routine caused more confusion as Pogba played in Lahm, who'd made the darting run in the box, having sold a dummy before the free kick was taken. Fortunately for McKee, De Gea came to his rescue. Giggsy was all about set play routines, and another clever one almost led to a goal for Ferdinand, whose back post header hit the side netting. Epsilon continued to turn the screw, and when Pogba's burst into the box found Hernandez, the Mexican unselfishly laid it onto Alan, but his turn and shot was pushed out for a corner. Football is a cruel game, and McKee has found this out the hard way. 2 minutes into added time, a clumsy lunge by Vieira sent Hernandez tumbling. Penalty to Epsilon. Up stepped Hernandez, who sent De Gea the wrong way. 3-2, the final score. Luke, that was a very, very cruel end to what was an absolutely superb game. McKee going 2-0 up. We thought he's going to win this. He's going to get his first win. He started very well in the first game against Megabit, and again he fell away in this one. Was it pressure? Was it just overexcitement? What did you make of the game, my friend?
I think it was a bit of deja vu and a bit of complacency, to be honest. He played very, very superb the first 40 minutes of the game, and then as soon as Giggsy come back into it, he sort of rocked the boat, and that's when it started to be a bit more in the Epsilon esporters' favour.
And talk me through the penalty, because last minute you're thinking he just needs to hold on. Do you think that was a bit of a careless lunge? Did he panic, or maybe just slip of the button?
I think at the pressure, I think it forced him. He was forced into it. The way Giggsy was moving the ball around, it looked inevitable with that there was going to be a goal last minute. But I think that in general, his set plays today in that game, he had some very, very nice set plays. As you see, he scored from a free kick as well, where he just passed the ball out. I think this guy could be a set piece maestro.
And to be fair to McKee, the first two opponents have been absolutely superb professionals. The two guys that you think will make the semi-finals. I think he drew the short straw when it came to the group stage, didn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely grabbed the short straw on this one. He's played against two of Europe's dominating FIFA players, both in Barcelona next weekend. He's got a lot of positives to take from this, though, because he has actually played probably some of the best football I've seen from an underdog in this competition so far. You just got to put your hands up to him and just say, well played, but I think he just needs to get a bit more composed and settle the nerves down a bit when he's in the game.
To be honest, mate, I think this will do him the world of good. I know that it's 2 defeats and no one wants to lose, but at the end of the day, he's come across 2 of the best in the world. And for him to pull out 2 performances, let's be 100% honest, he really gave Megabit a game in the opening game. So he can only go on leaps and bounds as far as I'm concerned. I think he's been a fantastic competitor. Let's hope he has a decent year next season.
I think he'll have a fantastic season next season. When he actually gets to grips with the league and how it runs, I think he'll be a player to watch.
Now, let's not wax lyrical too much about McKee, because obviously we've got to talk about our friend Giggsy here, who's done an absolute superb job coming back from behind to win a game that obviously people expected him to win. The pressure was on. Going 2 down wasn't great. But once again, it just shows that when you're a professional player at this level, you can turn it around if you've got the composure, if you've got the confidence. And he did.
That's the part of being a professional, is knowing when you need to turn up. As I've said last week, is that as a professional, you need to know how to adapt to intense game situations. And that's what Giggsy has done here. He's proven why he's one of Scotland's, if not Scotland's best player.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Diffused Kids went into their encounter with TNS on the back of a 3-0 loss to Excelsior. Could Brian get a win and improve his goal difference? Let's have a look. Brian began the game on the front foot, exploiting chappers down the right hand side. Gareth Bale giving Miranda something to think about. Bale found himself free again out wide, but Alexandro was able to get back into position and marshal the Welshman. It wasn't long before Diffuse Kids took the lead. Ronaldo's pace left Miranda for dead and his finish was very composed. Five minutes later, it was 2-0. Alan played Ronaldo in with an inch-perfect pass, and the former Manchester United man finished with the same style as his first. Gareth Bale wasn't to be forgotten and his shot was well saved after being put through. Eric Bailly could only half clear the resulting corner as far as Alexandro, who controlled the ball well with his right foot but didn't strike it with much conviction. Bale's hard work paid off as Dembele's outswinging corner was volleyed in by the Welshman. Ederson could have done better, although it was hit with some force. Ronaldo came close to completing his hat-trick when a near-post header was pushed away by Ederson. Ronaldo was again involved when Pogba rolled a free kick to him, but his dribble then shot went over the bar. Some good build-up play early in the second half by Chappers saw Mbappe race forward, but was denied by Ferdinand. Brian's movement up front was giving Chappers nightmares, and it was 4-0 when Ronaldo played in Bale, who fouled across the keeper and into the net. Things went from bad to worse for TNS when Alexandro found Alan with miles of space and enough time to make a cup of tea before playing it forward to Ronaldo. A neat 1-2 with Mbappe led to CR7 completing his hat-trick. Chappers almost got a goal back through Mbappe, but his shot was palmed away by the hair. Diffuse Kid's 6th goal was started and finished by Gareth Bale. Mbappe found Gabriel Jesus out wide. A dink into the box was met by a stooping header from Bale. Brian continued to torture Chappers and made it 7-0 with 2 minutes to go. It was another goal that involved Bale, Ronaldo and Mbappe, but this time it was the Frenchman who got on the score sheet with a snapshot finish. Luke, do you remember last week when we were saying, can Diffuse Kids come back? Can Brian recover from that 3-0 loss against Excelsior? What is he going to do to his goal difference? There's the answer. There's the answer. There's the absolute answer. A 7-0 win. What can you say about this one? It was one-way traffic, wasn't it?
It was 100% all in Diffuse Kids' favour, this one. I'm actually really shocked. I just believe that Chappers is a very good FIFA player, usually. I just think he's just had a bad day. Unfortunately, this time he's had a very bad day in which Brian from Diffuse Kids has actually come out, and even though he lost last week, he's brought the fire back to the table, 100%.
You know what? It's like what they say, watch out for a wounded animal, because they're dangerous. And he was wounded. That first game, that 3-0 loss, everyone was saying, he's got no chance. The goal difference is going to hurt him. Yada, yada, yada. Here you go. Smashes 7. Ronaldo was a beast. He was in top form. Mbappe, it's almost as if they were queuing up to score goals. Alan dominated the middle of the park. It was the perfect performance, and to be honest, I actually felt sorry for TNS because they came with a game plan. They attacked as much as they possibly could, but it just wasn't there. There was a brick wall in the counter-attacking football. It was outstanding. This was the complete performance. In fact, I'll say it was more complete than Germany beating Brazil 7-1. I think it was more complete than Man United destroying Ipswich 9-0. It was an absolute... what's the word to describe? I can't even describe it. It was an onslaught.
It's what they call a butchering. And when you get slaughtered that badly I don't think there's any way to come back from this. Unfortunately, from Chapper's perspective, I think that must have knocked his confidence down. If he had less confidence, to near on zero now.
Well, look, credit to Chappers for not doing the whole rage quit thing, because that's what you kind of expect from some people. But yeah, kudos to him. He fought till the end. Well done.
Yeah, you've got to give him that. He stayed and played. He has some positives to take. I guess at least he held possession for a little bit. He didn't just get into the game. I think that's what his problem was. And after the third goal went in, I think that was probably what killed it off. And he just didn't really bother stepping it up anymore. Which is really a shame, to be honest, because comebacks do happen, like we saw in the Dragon Northampton game. But, you know, some players just have different mindsets, and it's all about how it goes down at the end of the day.
Yeah. The problem is, in tournament mode, when you go a goal down so early, it's so difficult to come back unless you're super confident. And to be fair, it was a sucker punch. It was a punch to the kidneys. He didn't expect it. And there was no coming back. But again, credit to both guys. They put on a fantastic, entertaining encounter, I guess, for the likes of us neutrals.
Yeah, it was very, very entertaining. Probably one of the best games of the tournament so far. Maybe not in terms of competition, but in goal-wise. I think Diffuse Kids has a lot to take from this. I think this could boost him up for next week. But I'm not going to talk about that because I seem to end Dragon's career so far. So
keep your mouth shut then.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my mouth quiet on that one.
Brilliant. Twicky's opening game defeat meant he had it all to do against another quality opponent in Prunes. Could he win and keep his tournament hopes alive? Let's see how he did. Twicky knew nothing more than a win would be enough, otherwise his tournament would be over. He started well, probing with some slick passes leading to a shot from Bale that was turned wide by the hair. With less than a quarter of an hour played, Pruens took the lead. His corner was cleared up to Suarez and the counter-attack looked on. However, Vieira won the ball, held it up well and found Valencia. His one-touch pass was just what Ronaldo wanted, and the Brazilian legend fired Stark Esports ahead. Tweaky wasn't behind for long though. A misplaced pass by Rio Ferdinand gave CR7 the chance to break into the box. A drag back then a first time pass to Hernandez was perfect, and the Mexican buried his first chance of the game. Pretty soon Prunes was back in front. Roberto Carlos shoved Kyle Walker off the ball and played it through to Ronaldo. R9 twisted and turned inside the box, then found Emmanuel Petit who made it 2-1. Tweaky was at 6s and 7s defensively thanks largely to Ronaldo. His second goal came just before the break. Vieira's pass to Hullet was laid off to Ronaldo, whose incredible footwork mesmerised two defenders, taking them out of the game. A far post finish made it 3-1. A clever free kick routine early in the second half almost gave Stark Esports a fourth. Ronaldo's through pass to Hullet was well saved though. Prunes was in showboating mode, attempting a backheeled finish. The other Ronaldo tried a bit of trickery of his own, but it came to nothing. So that seemed like another one-sided encounter. Where does Twicky go from here? Because I had him down as one of the guys to actually at least get to the quarterfinals. It shows how much I know about this competition. What do you make of it, mate?
I think Proun's just showed his class. He's under one of the best esport agencies in Europe right now, representing Stark. Produced players such as Timo from Wolfsburg. Got a lot of class professional football clubs under their belt working for them with their players. I think this guy is just another upcoming player that's going to be representing one of the German clubs next year.
Do you know what? He utilised Ronaldo so well, and at one point he was just showboating, wasn't he? It was almost as if it was too easy for him, and I felt sorry for Twicky because he tried to get in the game, but he just couldn't. Prones was just too good.
Yeah, Prones is a very, very good player. I don't think Twicky played to his best this week, but I believe that Prones just didn't give him the chance to get even close to him. As you said, he was showboating with Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo is a class player on the game, but when you can use him as Prones use him, I think anything's possible.
Do you know what? For me, he's my favourite. He's my favourite. I was watching last week. I was thinking maybe Megabit's going to do it, but I like the way that Prones plays. He just seems so composed. He's quick on the ball. When Roberto Carlos just shoved Carl Walker out of the way, he's like, right, this guy means business. He's aggressive. He's direct. It seems to me that he wants it. He really wants it. Has he actually ever won any major tournaments, do you know?
I'm actually not too sure on that. I know he's a new name coming out of Germany.
This is the guy then. This is the guy. You heard it from Stel. This is the guy.
I think he's competed at a few of the German national events, but nothing too big that's going to get him some major notoriety. But I think this guy, I'm with you on that one, Stel. This guy could be one to watch. Probably one of the biggest underdogs.
Oh, so you're agreeing with me now?
I do agree on this one.
Well, let's just hope he doesn't get knocked out in the next round because I'm going to blame you again.
Yeah, I'll take the blame for this one.
Great stuff, brilliant. So what happens to Twicky now? Does he go back to the drawing board? Does he got another competition to challenge?
I think he has to take it back to the drawing board and just take out the negatives and just make them into positives and work on his play and just say, look, this is what went wrong, and this is what I have to do, and grind for it throughout this game. Fingers
crossed he comes back all guns blazing in the next game. I know it's one game and he's already out, but you never know. At the end of the day, it's a big competition. I'm sure he can take a few positives out of it. At least he probably knows where he went wrong, what he can improve on, and I hope to see him in next year's tournament.
Yeah, I hope to see him in next year's tournament as well. As I said, it's all about if he can analyse his own play, he's going to work on his mistakes, and if you can analyse your own play, you're set for.
Well, look, as a coach yourself, what kind of advice would you give him? If he was one of your guys, what would you say to him right now?
I'd tell him to keep his head up. I'd say there's no shame in losing. Losing is learning. And I'd also say to him in gameplay, should I say, that he needs to slow it down a lot and stop trying to force the ball.
Fair enough. Brilliant. Our final match of the show is between two competitors who impressed with convincing wins last week. Nick and Poacher. This one had the makings of a classic as both players attempted to build on their superb opening day victories. VVV Venlo had a lot of luck down their right hand side in the last game and looked to utilise that area of the pitch against AS Roma. Cristiano Ronaldo's shot was deflected wide by Ferdinand. Some patient build-up play by Bale and Sanchez led to a blocked shot in the 14th minute. Poacher took the lead half an hour into the game, showing why he is one of the best in the world. A three-man move involving Alexandro, Neymar and Ronaldo put Poacher ahead. Neymar found enough time and space to play a square pass to Ronaldo, who found the net from 5 yards out. Nick was almost back in the game when 3 one-touch passes from Pogba, Ronaldo and Nainggolan set up Bale, whose shot was saved. VVV Venlo came close again when Mbappe found Ronaldo, but his effort was dealt with comfortably. Nainggolan and Bale combined again when the Welshman tried his luck from outside the box. De Gea was hardly troubled though. It seemed that Poacher was happy to stand off Nick and let him shoot from range when Ronaldo was given another opportunity to try his luck for VVV Venlo. Another comfortable save from De Gea. Nick was knocking on the door though, and Poacher needed De Gea to be on top form to keep out Ronaldo's header, which he did. When Pogba's shot was pushed out by De Gea, it wouldn't have been a surprise if Nick thought it wasn't to be his day. De Gea then thwarted Ronaldo again following some good build-up play by Ferdinand and Fernandinho. However, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Moments into added time, Nick pulled level. Ronaldo played a 1-2 with Son and found the top corner. Finally, De Gea was beaten. Luke, this was actually my favourite game of the episode. It was one-way traffic, but it was a highly frustrating game. And as someone that doesn't really play FIFA that often, I can kind of feel for Nick here because he tried and tried and tried. It was like the wolf, wasn't it, in the Three Little Pigs. He kept huffing and puffing. He just couldn't blow the house down. But eventually, he got the equaliser in the last minute. And Poacher was actually very lucky in this one, wasn't he?
I think Poacher got very lucky, to be honest, in my eyes. Not what he would have wanted. Not the performance he would have wanted, considering last week he won. And now he's got a draw, which means he technically could have to win the next game. But Nick, he just couldn't get through, could he? He huffed and he puffed, as you said, but he just couldn't blow that house down.
And to be fair, both performers had a fantastic game last week. It was clinical, they were just convincing. But for some reason, I don't know whether it was maybe the occasion, or maybe Poacher kind of thought in the back of his mind that he could afford to maybe take his foot off the gas in this one and win his final game. But Nick wasn't... I just felt sorry for him because he tried and he tried and he tried. But to be fair, perseverance is key. He got the last minute equaliser, and I think they're both in very comfortable positions to qualify now.
Yeah, I think these two will both qualify out the group. They both show great prospect players, especially Nick. It's actually quite shocked from, because I didn't really know who he was coming into the competition, but I definitely know who he is now after the football he played tonight.
Yeah.
But I feel really, really bad for him in senses that he probably could have got 3 or 4.
Yeah. The thing is, to be fair, I said it in the last show, I'm going to say it again. Nick's right-hand side, he's very effective, he's efficient, he's direct, very quick. I think if you can stop him from keeping the ball in that part of the pitch, you've got a great chance of beating him. He's only conceded 1 goal in 2 games though, which is fantastic. He doesn't look shaky at the back either. He looks very, very confident, I'd say.
Yeah, he looks very, very good at the back. And as I said last week about him being too one-sided, I think that's something that players should be looking at in analysis sort of thing, is looking at each opponent's weaknesses and what their strengths are and eliminate that from the competition. But I think Nick played very class today. I think Poacher had an off day, but I think Nick's got the more positives to actually take from this game. Poacher, I think if I was him, I would just have to go out all guns blazing next week.
Thing is, before the game, I think Nick would have taken a draw, but given the chances that he had, what he created, I think he's going to be a bit disappointed. Whereas Poacher, on the other hand, probably thought, I can come into this game, I'll be very happy with a win, wouldn't mind the draw. But at full time, he was probably wiping his brow thinking, for crying out loud, I got very, very lucky in this one.
Yeah, I think on one hand you got a player that's relieved, and then you got on the other hand one that's very, very annoyed with himself for not taking his chances. But I think Nick should take that. Poacher's a class player. He's representing AS Roma. Like, you don't get in them sort of positions in career paths for no reason. You know what I mean? So I think Nick's got a very, very good game to take from this, and he can move on to next week. And I think he'll win next week, and I think Poacher will win next week. If not, it's the curse of Luke again.
Well, look, that group is hotting up, so let's just see how that one goes, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it.
Excellent. Now let's do a quick review of the groups at the moment, shall we? And in Group A, Footwiz and Ajax sit top on 4 points. Linfield, poor Linfield, bottom with minus 14 of a goal difference. Luke, looks like it could be Footwiz and Ajax going through. A draw for them in their final games, and they qualify.
It's something that I could see coming. Footwiz, Dubsy, very good player actually. Last year he wasn't really as known, but this year he's come out all guns blazing. He qualified for Barcelona. He's actually on fire right now, and this is something that I could see. Ajax, all their players are class, so yeah. To be honest with you, Star, I wasn't really doubting either ability to get through.
What about Team Reborn then? 2 points. They're only 2 points behind though, so a win in the next game.
I mean, you got Rodinho, who's from Team Reborn. He's a French player. He's capable of anything. He's a really talented young guy, actually. I think he competes in the Orange League or something like that. It's called it's like the French version of the EMLS.
Okay.
And I think he could pull something out because, as we said, when times get tough, some players can either adapt to it and turn up, or they're going to crumble under the pressure.
Fair point. So, on to Group B, where Northampton and FC Twente lead on 4 points, but West Ham are just behind them on 3. Lightning Pandas, sorry Luke, they're bottom of the table and out. What's going to happen in this one? Can West Ham sneak through? I mean, a win in the next game could go top.
I am going to sit on the fence on this group. I've got the feeling that West Ham will just sneak it through though. But I'm not too sure on FC Twente. I think he's a good little player, so I'm going to keep my eye on him. To go through as well.
Excellent. On to Group C, and it's very similar to Group B, where Wolves are top of the table with Millennium on 4 points. Just behind them are Finals. Unfortunately, our friend Ranners is out. Luke, it's an interesting table. Wolves top of the table at the moment. Got a good result in their first game, a draw in their next. How do you see this group going?
I think it's going to stay exactly how it is now, in my eyes.
Top two the same, yeah?
You've got 2 strong competitors at the top. Played very well their 2 opening games. I don't think they'll let it slip now. I think their foot's on the pedal.
Great stuff. Group D looks very, very interesting at the moment with Epsilon and Bochum top with 4 points, but Den Haag just behind them on 2. Interesting end to the group here because Den Haag will face Shamrock Rovers, who put a plucky display in his first 2 games that we said at the top of the show. How do you think that group's going to go, Luke? It's looking very, very interesting at the moment, isn't it?
I think Epsilon and Den Haag are going to go through.
What, you think they're going to draw? They're going to draw?
I potentially think so, yeah. I think it's going to be a very close encounter.
I don't know, this is going to be an interesting one because, you know, McKee, he's got all to play for. He can play against Den Haag, who got a good result against Bochum. This is going to be very, very tricky to call, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think that... I think Griggs beat Megabit. That's the thing. It's going to be a very good game to watch. But I just think Den Haag probably take over Mackie, and I think...
So you're saying Megabit's going to go out on goal difference?
I think potentially this is what we could be seeing, yeah.
Wow, here we go.
I'm making a risky call. Making a risky call.
Well, let's see how that one goes. Group E sees Excel top with Groningen and Stuttgart just behind them. Now this could be a very tricky one because even though Excel are on 6 points, Groningen and Stuttgart are on 3, catching up, breathing down their necks. Another tricky one to call.
I think it's going to be an Excel and a Stuttgart finish.
Wow, you're so confident. I give you that. You're very confident.
I'm going to say Excel and Stuttgart. I have faith in Marlott to do his job as a professional. Not ruling out Groningen though, but I just think this is Marlott's sort of match next week.
Great stuff, brilliant. Group F is looking very, very tasty. Nix, VVV Venlo are on 4 points. Poachers Roma are on 4 points. Grazers on 3. Now Grazer will face Poacher in the final game. A win for Grazer and he goes through over Poacher. Luke, what are you going to say about this one? Nick, I think, will beat Crusaders. I can't see him not winning that game, and I think he'll be comfortable as well. So we can safely say that he'll go through on 7 points. Poacher against Grazer. If Grazer can turn this round, will this be the biggest shock in tournament history?
This could quite potentially be the biggest shock ever. But I'm confident once again that Poacher's going to win it.
You're that confident. You're just ending it at that.
I just think that, in general, Poacher's a stronger player. He's a professional. He's making a living of the game. This is the sort of situation that players like Poacher thrive on. So I think with it going down to last game, I think he'll get the job done.
He's going to have to put a better performance than he did against VVV. So let's see if he can turn it around. Group G is looking very, very interesting as Terrassa lead with 6 points. But they face 3 scoring Diffuse Kids in the final game. Meanwhile, Excelsior face TNS, which could be another hiding, hopefully not for TNS's sake. Luke, this is going to be a very tricky one to call, my friend, because you don't really know too much about Terrassa, apart from the fact that they're top. But Diffuse Kids, 3 scoring in the last game, they got their goal difference up, their noses are in front, as they say. How do you think this group's going to pan out?
I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. This one could go either way. I am going to say that Terrasso and Excelsior are going to go through. Just generally how both teams are playing these both 2 weeks. Both teams look really good. I mean, as I said with Diffuse Kids, he's just inconsistent. So I don't know how that's going to plan out next week. But I think that I'm going to stick with my instinct and go with the 2 I just said.
Now on to Group H, where Stark Esports have effectively qualified for the next round, and they face Twicky, who unfortunately crashed out, having lost his last game. Now interestingly enough, for FIFA's sake, they face Hamilton for the right to qualify. Now Luke, you know, your loyalties are a bit divided here, but who can you see qualifying out this week with Stark Esports?
It's going to be Lewis Hawley from FIFA's sake.
Yeah? You sound very confident.
Yeah, 100%.
You sound very confident.
Very confident.
Yeah?
Very confident, yeah.
How come?
Lewis is a great individual. Very talented player. Known him for a good few years actually, to be honest. Before he even touched competitive FIFA, wait there, let me start that again. I've known Lewis for years, before he even started playing proper full-on competitive. I know the talent that he has, and I just believe that this could be his year. He's qualified for Barcelona, his dreams have pretty much come true, and I would like to see him have a fairy tale ending right now.
Fantastic. Now before we wrap up the show, Luke, do you want to guess who's going to win the tournament? Because last week you got it completely wrong.
You got me here.
Do you know what?
My favourite one.
Don't say anything because you're just going to jinx him, mate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Right, that's all we have for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter at global_eleagues. And don't forget to give our friends at Goal a like on their Facebook page. Until next time, take care.